So even with the Steam sale going on right now, and you got all the free games that are in there as well, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth pre-orders on Steam is in 16th spot. It's the highest ranking pre-order that you can get. And if you take all of the free games that are out there, okay, it just barely, even now, even with, the winter sale officially kicking off, okay, for the next 2 weeks, it is still in 11th spot. That's amazing. I am super happy about this because finally the game, at least in 2025, a year removed from its initial release, is finally going to get into the hands of actual players, and people are going to be able to experience how great this game really is. But honestly, if you're, if you've been listening to me talk about this game for just about a year at this point in time, and you're looking to get in on all the fun, don't buy it over on Steam. Go over and get it on Green Man Gaming, where it's in, the second and third best seller spots, even at the time when they're putting on their big winter sale. Bro, this game is going to be huge next year, and I'm so happy about it. I don't get a red cent off of this. By the way, yeah, I bought my copy over at Green Man Gaming. I just logged out. That could show you, but I don't take my word for it. Otherwise, I don't really care if you believe me or not. But like you can see, it's a great deal. You can get your standard edition, or you can get the 2-pack if you haven't got, Remake on PC, which is fun as hell because I'm going to be playing, once I get through my hard mode playthrough, I got 4 more Battle Arena challenges to get through, which I'm not exactly happy about because it's the most time-consuming part of the game. Let's just put it at that one. I won't say they're bad. I'm just saying that they're kind of annoying, all things considered, but lol, I just see, Suicide Squad killed the Justice League at $4. I might actually pick that up. That is so bad, I might actually pick that up. But I digress. I'm willing to shill for this game, okay? Without me getting a cut from anything else, okay? I like good games, and I like the people that make this, because every time I see them talk about this, okay, you take a look at the game director, Naoki Hamaguchi, okay? This guy, he loves his game. Okay, you take a look at his Twitter feed, you take a look at his social media, and this guy's out here every waking moment just thanking everybody, not being divisive, not being adversarial to the audience, just going, hey, look, thank you for your Game of the Year awards. Thank you for, appreciating our game this year, putting it on your top 10 lists, retweeting people, that are giving the game its due. I've listened to oh my God, countless interviews, and he's just excited about the project. It's something that is very rare in the industry. And case in point, if he didn't care so much about the game and was just simply in it to make as much money as possible for him to, raise his own personal standing, he would try to make this as profitable as possible. Now, because it was consigned to that stupid little plastic box from Sony, obviously, it underwhelmed, okay? As Square Enix put out earlier this year, it had softer than expected sales, which, when it comes to Square Enix, if you've been following them over the years, you don't even know what those expectations could have been. They could have thought that this thing moved 20 million copies or something like that because they're just so out to lunch. But obviously, with all of those pre-orders that are there, and it's like, I'd imagine that the Steam numbers are going to be fantastic this time around. You could get it on Epic Game Store, but I don't know why you would do that, but you can, I guess. Come January 23rd, yeah, this is going to be one of them ones. But Hamaguchi says they wanted to add a DLC episode to the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth PC version, but decided the top priority was finishing Part 3 as soon as possible. I think we're going to hear news about Reclaim. I think we're going to hear it at Summer Game Show, or whatever Jeff Keighley calls his little July interlude. I think we're going to get something, okay? Because with Rebirth, we got a teaser trailer 2 years ahead of launch, and it kind of makes sense this time around. It seems like everything's lining up, regrettably, for a 2027 release, which personally makes me very, very upset. But if it's sooner than that, oh, fantastic! I'd have to stare longingly into the abyss and realize I'm going to be closer to, holy shit, I'm going to be closer to 40 than 30 by the time that I can finish playing this tremendous project. But no, instead of trying to fit a square peg into a round hole by milking the audience, we did have the desire to add an episodic story as a new DLC to the PC version, he admitted. Both limited resources, I want to keep a pin in this, okay, for a second. Hamaguchi decided that finishing the final game in the project as quickly as possible was the highest priority. However, if we receive strong requests from players after the release regarding certain matters, we would like to consider them, Naoki Hamaguchi said in an interview interview with Epic Game Store or something like that in Japanese. Okay, so this is obviously a translation. So there's a couple of things that people are trying to pick up on this interview right here. Okay, limited resources. Well, it's the entire team that has been working on Remake. It was something like 80 or 90% of the team was retained for Rebirth, and you've seen what greatness they produced there. And yeah, that same team is already well at work on Part 3, so why would they try to split off some of the team to work on something that's going to be even bigger than this massive game? Because with just greater game knowledge, understanding of the original, there are, 3 new continents that they're going to have to add? There's, obviously dealing with the high wind. You're going to have to do chocobo breeding stuff. You've got basically all of the story to flush out. That's a huge game. It's going to be, if they do this right, oh my god, it has the potential to being even twice as big as Rebirth. I'm not underselling this. Like, this game could be huge. So yeah, it's all hands on deck. Deck. I'm just that excited about it. Then that's also at the end of a very long recording day, and I need to hydrate properly. But no, Square Enix is not skimping out. No, this isn't a contraction because the game didn't sell that well on the PS5, which we've never got confirmed sales numbers for. And then also, if they beg us for DLC for the for the PC version, I look at that and say, yeah, certain matters. I mean, on the PC, I know modders are very likely to take advantage of this. Just unlock those 2 other temporarily playable characters and just let us have fun. Give us more costumes in the game. I'd like more weapons, but I understand it's like if you're going to blow everything out, and I kind of think in Reclaim, and this is something that I'll eventually get to, and especially, with the PC version coming out, I can actually get my own gameplay, so I can do that full review, the big long man review that I want to, because I think this game totally deserves it, and it's, dominated my thought process since its release. And even though I haven't played a lot recently, like with the upcoming second hard mode playthrough, it'll be the 4th time I go through the game, and I'm not even close being tired of playing it. And then after I'm done on the PS5, I don't want to do a PC remake playthrough the entire way through, get 100% on that, and then go directly into Rebirth. But that's a lot of time, and maybe between Christmas and New Year's, I'll actually have some time to dedicate to gaming. But I digress. There's a lot of stuff that modders can take care of if Square Enix, if Naoki Hamaguchi and his team want to just simply focus on Part 3. That's fine, bro. Okay, that is absolutely 100% fine, because a huge reason I'm excited about Part 3, I'm super excited about Part 3, obviously, but for the PC port of this game is because of mods. And Hamaguchi made a statement about said modding community that's obviously on its way in, that has ruffled some feathers of people who, just can't read sentences. Same way that they're picking apart his statements about, what is that, limited resources, and if they beg us, your game's not that popular. It's like, I don't know, man. Reading comprehension is difficult for some people. I don't know. Ahead of a game's PC release, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth director asks modders not to create or install anything offensive or inappropriate. Now, people are saying, what? Oh, he's trying to censor the game. Oh, this is once again Square Enix run amok. Like, no. There's people that worked on this game that are super passionate. They're very proud of the work that they did. They're just trying to say, don't pervert our game, okay? It's kind of like Brianna White, okay? She's a voice actress for Aerith. People say that she's not very good, okay? I would say that she's definitely my least favorite of the main cast. That's not a slight against her at all whatsoever. It's just everybody else is so damn strong. But she's touching on something that is, kind of a big reason why I like talking about Final Fantasy VII. It's because, and Final Fantasy in general, is because the grander scope of fandom when it comes to this series is so insufferably pathetic. I mean, you see how many flags and pronouns are in the bios of some of the people that live and breathe this franchise, or at least claim to for points online. It's like, how many of you have played anything before 7? I'll just hold my breath. How many spin-off games have you played? But I don't need to flex my gamer cred or anything like that. But they're just, they're disgusting for the most part. Mostly because they do all the stuff that all of those gross fandoms are up to. And Brianna ended up finding this stuff out, mostly because you take a look at her social media feed and she's out there doing exactly what Hamaguchi is doing, retweeting all of the good stuff, including some of the cringe stuff. She's super happy about this, okay? Because, yeah, when she showed up at the Game Awards, she was wearing a banger of a dress, if we're being completely honest, and Cody Christensen, the voice actor for Cloud, was, wearing a all-black suit, rather. And that's a great piece of fan art, and I'm always amazed by the fan art community. And, yeah, she ended up having to have a little talk. Haven't had a little talk to the shippers that are out there, and well, she has a much more measured response than I would, because I think that the shippers are subhuman and belong in the same camps that the furries would go to if I was God Emperor of the world. But because that's not the case, we got to deal with every one of God's children with a certain amount of detestation. When my siblings and I would fight as a kid, my mom would tell us not to touch noses until we inevitably started giggling and got over it. I say this with love. Final Fantasy VII shippers need to touch noses. We're all the same family, and loving these characters, so relax. Yeah, because there's no more poisonous corner of any community, any fandom that's out there. Those goddamn freaks that just want to see a bunch of fictional characters rub genitalia together. You're weird. You're 1000% weird. I don't like it. I don't really understand it, because you guys don't actually get real action in life. So you want to vicariously live out your inadequacies, fake characters. It's bizarre. And so, yeah, you have FF7 shippers that are out there, trying to run back the whole bizarre relationship between Sephiroth and Aerith, where if you understand early development ideas, Sephiroth and Aerith were at one point in time supposed to be siblings, which I guess I don't know if I like it or not, and maybe it could have been implemented in the story, but just the idea that Sephiroth thinks himself an ancient and ends up, spoilers, killing the last ancient, I think that that's probably a little bit better of a story, as opposed to brother and sister separated at birth and all of that melodrama that comes down the line. But we could talk theories until we're blue in the face, and I would be totally happy with that. But this is how you address the rabid side of the fandom. Okay, personal story, non-confrontational, just, hey, I'm happy with the work that I did. You guys are obviously happy with the work that we did. Just stop being weird for a second. And that's what, that's what Hamaguchi is doing with the modders that are obviously gonna do some crazy stuff with Tifa, making a request that even he must admit has absolutely zero real chance of ever being honored. Yeah, I mean, because the internet's gonna do internet things, and well, hey man, it is what it is. Now, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth director Naoki Hamaguchi has asked players to err away from engaging in offensive or inappropriate mods when the game finally has PC platform in early next year, January 23rd. Don't forget the date. Hamaguchi, who served as co-director on Remake and then eventually got promoted to his current role, following Tetsuya Nomura going and, refocusing on fixing Kingdom Hearts. God, I was disappointed with 3, but so many other people were, but don't worry about that. As a series director, made his appeal in a recent interview with Epic Games regarding Rebirth's upcoming PC release, following a lengthy discussion revolving around the technical aspects of the port and his thoughts on the Remake trilogy story. The director was eventually asked by the host, Fight Magic Items, the history of Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, and the rise of Japanese RPGs in the West, author Aidan Moore, sure, as to whether Rebirth would be as mod-friendly as the previous remake. Well, I sure hope so, because it's quite an extensive community, and there's some really good mods that are out there, honestly. With an extensive capability of the fan modding tool Seventh Heaven being raised in it as an example for customization fans were hoping for. Oh yeah, and just modding the original, I mean, Seventh Heaven mod manager is it's unparalleled, it's unbeaten. You can, if you're one of those speds that don't like the remake trilogy because it's not a remake of the original, we got lied to, install Seventh Heaven. You can basically get a modern day remake that's in 16 by 9, that has fully realized 3D characters, that has a full orchestral music backing. It's crazy how much modding is out there. Or you could just get some of those hard mode difficulties. Install the new threat mod until you're blue in the face. Have fun with that. But in turn, Hamaguchi referred to Moore, that he, and his readers, while the team has no plans for official in-game mod support, we respect the creativity of the modding community and welcome their creations. Though we ask modders not to create or install anything offensive or inappropriate. Can you just, keep Tifa in the swimsuit? That'd be great. Could you do that? We don't really want to see all of our work just, descend into degeneracy. Can you just do that? that'd be nice. But if you're going to, it's like, it can't really stop you. And though the director and his team currently have no plans to add any future content, to the PC release of Rebirth, whether in the form of official mod support or any episodic story as a new DLC, even though there are stories that you could potentially tell. I mean, a Vincent story's right there, filling in some of the new lore that they're trying to give to Cid. I think that's going to be interesting. And Cid as a dragoon, oh my god, that's going to be so much fun. And if we're being completely honest, Cid was one of the more detestable characters, honestly, not at the bottom rungs with like Yuffie and Cait Sith in the original game, but Cid was a lower tier character. But now this time around, he's got kind of an interesting story, and I'm very, very excited to go to Rocket Town and eventually figure out what exactly is going on there. But getting back on track here, and then just going back to the, please don't install, we ask modders not to create or install anything offensive or inappropriate, but topless mods are coming within the first couple of days. I will guarantee that. But a lot of people are jumping on this because they're weird and trying to draw allusions to, Square Enix has an ethics department that told Final Fantasy VII Remake developers to restrict Tifa's chest. Oh my god, they censored Tifa! It was necessary. Well, I mean, you just run it back and you go and find the context for this quote, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. It makes a lot more sense because Square Enix has an ethics department. A new interview has revealed, and it advised the Final Fantasy VII Remake team on development. Specifically, the ethics department told the remake developers to restrict Tifa's chest. What exactly does that mean? According to the comments made by director Tetsuya Nomura in a new interview with Famitsu, the original Final Fantasy VII character models created for the PS1 are, of course, unrealistic. Yeah, because they're little chibi blocks. Like, they're very unrealistic. Unlike a lot of Fairweather fans, actually, here, I'm going to go ahead and flex some of my creds here for a second. I got 3 things I want to show off here real quick. Okay, I got the, Final Fantasy set. I got the remake soundtrack, which is fantastic. Only eclipsed by the Rebirth soundtrack. This shit is great. They're difficult to find. You have to import them, but they're definitely worth the purchase. But just to show you, how big of a fan I am of the franchise, I got this bitch right here. Oh my god, this is one of my favorite things that I have. Okay, in my library. Okay, my media library. It's the Sky box set, the Yoshitaka Amano art books that are here, and it covers the first and honestly only 10 entries in the series, and this is the first print, by the way. I got it straight out the box the moment that I could buy it, and I've only ever opened it on a few separate occasions, but just to simply drive home the fact that the character art, the Yoshitaka Amano art, the true source material on this, a lot of this stuff is so amazing. Actually, a lot of Red 13, a lot of Sephiroth. And if we're being completely honest, and I don't know how well this is going to translate, god damn it, I wish that I could show this off in a better way. We got Tifa, okay? And I would say, definitely, god, is there a way that I could just go ahead and, is this going to end up showing up all that well? No, I can bring it to the screen a little bit, okay? Yeah, there you go right there. You can see... I would say that's the vision that Amano had, okay, and what ended up getting adapted. And does it have, okay, because, oh god, I don't have my originals, all of the more fanciful depictions of Tifa. But yeah, there's the classic character art that everybody remembers from back in the day. But honestly, if you think that she's being betrayed from that depiction, I'm going to go ahead and, cast your mind back to a little film I've got a couple of copies of called Advent Children. Her depiction in that. Oh, the amount of cloth to skin, okay, that ratio right there looks a little bit less flattering than even what they did with Remake and Rebirth. But the further justification for this to restrict Tifa's chest makes a whole hell of a lot of sense. Original character models, yes, unrealistic. 20 years later, making highly detailed modern characters of the PS4 threw up new issues. It was necessary to restrict her chest. What do we mean by that? Nomura is saying. Nomura, who also recently came out and was like, I don't understand. It's like, I make attractive characters because that's what I want to do. And everybody's like, oh, based. But they never want to go back and add the proper context to this whole ethics department shit. It makes me sick. But the developers modernizing Tifa's design meant creating an athletic look complete with abs while retaining her iconic white tank top and black miniskirt outfit. But as the ethics department pointed out, Tifa shouldn't look unnatural during action scenes, so her chest was restricted. Yeah, which is exactly what you would get. Okay, for any of the women that are out there, like, I don't know how many are going to be watching this, frankly, I don't really look at any of that type of stuff, because if you want information, you're going to seek out information, so good for you. When you're doing anything athletic, you don't even need to go as far. Just take a look at the UFC. But those chicks, even Misha Tate back in the cut, when she was, packing and delivering the goods, were those all strapped down? Okay. They weren't all bouncing around all crazy like. Would it make sense? For somebody as well endowed as Tifa Lockhart to wear a sports bra in such a rambunctious situation? I would think so. Makes a lot of sense. So yeah, don't want to have it unnatural. Yeah, because you got those physics simulators, you don't need them bouncing around all the time, and that would just simply be unpleasant for the character. This resulted in black underwear and a fitted tank top for the remake. Yeah, she got shorts on. You can see them as clear as day in Rebirth during one scene towards the end. I don't want to spoil anything of it, but also in Rebirth, her sports bra was very well justified in a way that I never really thought about, but it totally makes sense. Now, I've talked about this a bunch of different times, this scene right here and this justification, and well, I thought now's probably the appropriate time because I see so many idiots that are going around out there just trying to paint this game with the same brush that they do with Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, Concord, everything. Oh, it's bad because woke. Oh, it didn't sell because woke. They made Tifa ugly. They covered up her boobies. It's like, oh, you don't get it. You're just dumb. And even the costume change that they made in Remake has good justification. That was finally provided. And now this is within, depending on how fast you go through the game, within the first hour and a half of the game. Okay, Cloud and Tifa are having a conversation after the flashback to Nibelheim, and Cloud has a couple of questions. So does Tifa about the evening, because the more you know about the story, you would understand as to why Tifa would have some questions and why Cloud would have other questions. And well, this is where Cloud's side of the equation starts to come into this, because at the conclusion of the Nibelheim flashback, not spoiling anything by this, if you know even a little bit about the story, you know about the fall of Sephiroth, and you know that Tifa's dad dies at his hands. Her in impotent rage tries to, pick up Sephiroth's 8-foot-long katana and stab him, only for the tables to be turned on her, and she ends up getting sliced right across the midsection. And Cloud, recalling those memories, is trying to put two and two together. It's like, okay, there was an immense amount of damage. What's going on here? And this is where we pick up with this conversation, and it's justification that I never thought and nobody ever really considered, but it totally makes sense. Totally makes sense.
Shoot.
That night, 5 years ago, at the reactor, I saw you lying there. Saw your wound and all the blood. I figured it was too late.
Yeah? Wait, what are you implying? That I died? That I'm some kind of imposter? Can't believe I'm having this conversation with you, but here we are. Here, look. My scar. That proof enough? After you left, Zangan found me. He's the one who brought me to the clinic.
And the rest of the stuff is only like really story relevant. But yeah, her having a scar where she got slashed by the katana, by the super soldier, yeah, that totally makes a lot of sense. It was something that couldn't be depicted back in the PlayStation days, but definitely could this time around. And because Tifa is the way that she is, that she's very sensitive about the moment that she just about died, for God's sakes, there would be a reason that she would cover up such a horrific scar, or she wouldn't have to be constantly reminded of the most tragic day of her life. I don't know if that was ex post facto justification, but you take into the fact that Nomura was trying to make the characters more realistic in the correct way, and then also balance a lot of those consequential actions with the sheer reality of the situation lets you know how much of an understanding the people working on this project have for these characters, have for this story, and why I'm so incredibly high on Rebirth and why I'm so incredibly looking forward to part 3, because I know this is in good hands. They produced 2 absolute bangers, and if they pull off the third, it's going to be the best thing ever. That's why I'm constantly out here shilling for this game, for lack of a better term, because I see too many people that are well-meaning but just don't understand, especially with this situation. So yeah, I'm super hyped for January. Never thought I'd say that in my life. And also looking to give this game its proper due diligence and accolades. I get that damn review done. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.